Hey guys, what is up? Welcome back to the channel, or welcome to the channel if you are new here. In today's video, we are going to be going over my book journal, going through some of the reviews of the books I read in 2024, 2025, and the first few weeks of 2026. So stick around if you like bookish things. If you'd like to see your reviews, then stick around. We have lots of books coming up, and we will get them going. Smash that like button, subscribe, and hit that bell icon to be notified when we post more bookish videos if that is what you're into. All right, let's get into it. Hey guys, welcome back. Alrighty, so in 2024, we read 9 books. Didn't read them all. I would say 6 of them I did listen to, however, I do own them. So I do have the audiobooks as well. So let's go ahead and get into what was read in 2024. Now, this was when I was starting to kind of get back into reading, and when I was kind of just like dipping my toes back into it. And it all started with a book that one of my friends who I met on YouTube, her name is Tattoo Barbie, wrote a book. This is called Whispers and Shadows. Again, it is by Tattoo Barbie. This book, it's like a poetry book. It is absolutely phenomenal. There's not much I can say. It like kind of hits you right in the spot, in your heart that like you need to hear certain things. And that's where it kind of hits you. You kind of read, for me personally, like I read some things like that I really needed to hear and like acknowledge and to kind of go through. And it was absolutely beautiful. So this was my dip back into reading and getting back into reading. Now I do, this was purchased through Barnes and Noble online. So you need to go get this. It is absolutely amazing. Here is the cover art, absolutely beautiful. It's called Whispers and Shadows, Tattoo Barbie, a little blurb. It's a step into the shadows of the human experience through dark poetry, mother issues, mental health struggles, abuse, and trauma laid bare. This visual journey is a short, intense plunge into darkness, hoping to reach someone who feels just as deep in the nightmares life can bring. So that was, something that really kind of, yeah, it just kind of hit right in the right spot. There is a part in the book where she leaves some like empty pages towards the back, and she does kind of notate like, to draw, like they're open pages for you to draw in. She is a tattoo artist and a beautiful artist herself. So there's some empty pages, and then she kind of adds her own drawings into it as well. So here is the, if I can open the right page, about the author. There she is in all her beauty. And yes, so this is a must grab. The next book that I got into in 2024 was, I have all my books laid out in front of me so that way I can grab them as I go. All right, so the next one is George Orwell's 1984. If you know, this is like a dystopian future type book. It feels a little too real living in 2026 with what this book is about. So the last book, I totally forgot. I gave it a star. I do have star rating. So this, of course, 5-star rating. Absolutely amazing. For 1984, I gave it 3 stars. It is amazingly written. Absolutely loved it. It's just a little, not really the genre that I enjoy a lot. I really liked it, how eye-opening it was to like corrupt government and to like the dystopian future, but not really, because I feel like we're almost there. So yeah, it was definitely, an eye-opener. I feel like it was like a smack of the possibility of reality that we're coming into, especially in the world of AI. So it was really crazy to read, but it was really good. So yes, 1984 by George Orwell. This is the book version that I have. The next book that I read was, well, this one was audiobook. So I did two of the Harry Potter books. So these are rereads. This one is one of the newer versions. Of course, this is the Mina Lima version of the book. So it has like the pop outs, it's like interactive. So this one's absolutely beautiful. This version of the book, it has so much like interaction, and the art is just absolutely like phenomenal. And if I can get this to open, sorry. So like these actually move. It's amazing. It's absolutely beautiful. So this was like a reread because obviously I read these as a child, and you know 4 stars for this one. It's been a long time since I've read them again. I gave this one a 4 star. Hearing it was really interesting because I could picture like the movies and that, but then also like a lot is left out of the movies, obviously. So there's like certain things that you're like, oh man, I really wish that would have been in the movie, because it would have just added more to it. The second book was next. I don't have the dust jacket on this book. So this is Harry Potter and the Chamber of Secrets. Here is the front cover. I got this from my cousin when I was young. This was in 2000 is when she gave it to me. So here's the inside. So this one, Harry Potter, Chamber of Secrets. Obviously, we all know, love the stories. J.K. Rowling, love, 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 love the writing. Coming back after watching the movies like millions of times because I'm obsessed. It was just really interesting to again know all of the like missing elements from the movies, and it just kind of adds more of that character development and then just kind of builds on the story a lot more. Loved it. 5 stars. Great series to read. The next book that I read actually the next 2 books that I read in 2024 were the Lore Olympus series, volume 1. And here's volume 1. Absolutely stunning. This book, I got the hardcovers. These are like graphic novel style books. This series, I had it on my TBR for forever, and it just really blew my mind. Like, I think I read the first book in 2 hours, like as soon as I got home. The next one, oh, of course, that one's 5 stars. Next one, obviously, volume 2. Of course, I try to get the Barnes and Noble editions. So here's the cover. And there's that. So again, volume 2, absolutely obsessed. Love this series. Yeah, I'm using a filter. Please don't judge. It's early. Well, it's not really early, but it's early for me. But anyways, love this series. Absolutely obsessed. Don't know how long it took me to read the second book. Probably close to the same amount. 5 stars again. Absolutely obsessed with the story as it developed. The next book that I read was audiobook. So again, back to the audiobooks with the Harry Potter. Prisoner of Azkaban. Obviously, this book is old. See, it's all yellowed. This is Harry Potter and the Prisoner of Azkaban. 4 stars for this one. I do love the movie version of this book. It really, I think, just kind of shows and gives like more than this to the characters. The art is beautiful, but I just feel like the movies, they just kind of brought it to life obviously. So there's so many like little small weird differences from the books to the movies, like I've mentioned before. So it's just really nice to kind of hear slash see slash know those. So that was really interesting. The next book that I read in 2024 was The House on Mango Street. This is the second to last book I read in 2024. This book by Sandra Cisneros. I'm from San Antonio, so when I was going through high school, we had to read this book in my AP English class. And she is from San Antonio, and this book was absolutely one of my favorite books that we read when I was going through school. So this book, top of my list, I had to buy it and reread it. It was a quick read, but again, it's just really kind of hits you, and it was very nostalgic for me to read, and it just really like has such positivity and such beautiful message. Anybody who likes really great literature needs to read this book. It's amazing. The last book that I read in 2024 was Divergent, which again was a reread. This is the version of the first book that I have. The other books in the series that I have are all hardbacks. This one was not, obviously, but this is one of my favorite. I don't know if it'd be considered sci-fi. I don't know. It's one of my favorite series. I really love it. It has a lot to it, and I love the movies. They add a lot to it, but also, again, like with this book particular, the movie is really, 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 really close to the actual book, which is great. And I love that. But like as I progressed, like it's not as close to the movies. So it's kind of different. Sorry, I keep looking off. It's just because my camera or my phone is like sideways. So my bad. Anyways, this was the last book that I read in 2024. This was a 4-star read. Absolutely love this book. And it was just, it's just a little different than what I have been enjoying, but 4 stars, really great storytelling. I do prefer the movie to this book, but I mean, who wouldn't? I think that's for a lot of movies to books. So that is that series. So that is the end of 2024. Now we are going to kind of jump into 2025. So let's kind of jump on over to 2025. Alrighty. So 2025. That was 21 books for the year. So approximately 21 books. There was only one book I did DNF, and I don't have the physical version of the book. I only have the audio book version. I will put it up on the screen whenever I get to that one. It is the 4th book that I read. So the first book that I read in 2025 was, let me flip my page on my book journal so I can see my little blurb reviews. Okay, so the first book that I read in 2025 was Clueless. Okay, so side note, I love children's books. I am also going to school to be an educator, and I wasn't really sure what like grade level I was going to do, but then I kind of settled on secondary ed. So I have slowed down on buying children's books. However, if there is one that sticks out, which my most recent couple of buys of children's books, which I'll let you know when I get to those, it was like a no-brainer. I had to buy them. Okay, so first one. So Clueless, classic tale. Here's the back. Obviously, we know we love classic 90s 2000 hit. It is absolutely beautiful inside, and it is so cute. Like just the art of this book. The art of this book is beautiful. It is so good. So this was obviously a 5-star because it was super adorable, totally nostalgic, and yeah, there's no other way to rate that besides 5 stars. The next book that I read in the next book that I read in 2025 was Insurgent, which is the second book in the Divergent series. This is the book without the dust jacket. On these types of books, I don't keep the dust jackets. I usually take them off and put them up for safekeeping. But like my children's books, a lot of them do have the dust jackets still on them just because they're cute. I don't know why, but they do. So, second book, Insurgent of the Divergent series. This one was 4 stars again. It was a really great series. The voice actors for this audiobook, they were phenomenal. It was quite different from the movie, from what I remember. Whenever I was reading it, there were like quite a few parts that just weren't the same as the movies. So it was really like interesting to reread it because the first time I read it, obviously the movies hadn't come out yet, and then time went by, and so movies came out, and I haven't reread these, so I reread them, and yeah, I noticed quite a few differences between the movies and this second book. So great series, still recommend 100%. But yeah, that was a 4-star. The next book that I read was also audiobook. This is another book in the Divergent series. It's called 4. Again, I don't have the dust jacket on it. These little symbols on the front are parts from these stories. So that's why that's there, and there's nothing on the back. So 4 is kind of the telling from 4's perspective, I guess you could say. It's kind of like the parts of the first book retold from 4's perspective, or Tobias's. So great book. Really liked the perspective that it gave from his view. It was really interesting. I gave this a 3-star just because I did really enjoy the perspective, but because you see it's quite shorter than the actual Divergent series. So I would have, I think, really liked kind of how Twilight did, like the full version from Edward's perspective. I believe that's what the book is. I haven't read that one yet, but I would have appreciated more depth to Tobias in this story. But it was still a really great audiobook, really great read. So yes, need to get that series. The next one is the book that I DNF'd, which I gave it a 3-star overall because it was okay. It's called The 7.5 Deaths of Evelyn Hardcastle. I'll pop a picture up right here. 7.5 Deaths of Evelyn Hardcastle by Stuart Turton. So it was really confusing in the beginning, and then it kind of started making sense, but I was already like uninterested by the time it started making sense, which I think was, so it was probably around like chapter 5 or 6, I want to say, when I was like, nah, I'm DNFing this, I'm out, because it was too confusing at first, and I didn't want to keep following it. My brain was having to do too much work, and it was not enjoying reading. So DNF that one. So that one was still a 3-star read because I did like the characters, but the story was like, why? Why is it being told this way? Like, is there not a better way this could have been done? Anyways, that was just my perspective. Hopefully, if any of you have read it, and I hope you enjoyed it and loved it. I hope it ended up being really good. I just didn't have the patience to keep reading. So, moving on. The next book that I read is another children's book. I do have quite a few, and there are a couple of books that I have multiple versions of, so you'll see those. Next book was Elf. This is absolutely beautiful. Obviously, I got this at Christmas time. This is my favorite movie, hands down. Second favorite Christmas movie. It also has stickers on the inside. But here's some of the art, and here are the stickers. So, second favorite Christmas movie. My first favorite is The Santa Claus with Tim Allen. Tim Allen's the GOAT. Don't care. He is Father Christmas himself. Obviously, 5-star. Super cute is a shorter version of the movie. Obviously, they had to develop a lot of characters, but this still does a really good job. It was so adorable. I love this book. It just hit all of the notches, all of the notes. 5 stars. Next one was the last book in the Divergent series, which is Allegiant. Here's the front. Allegiant back. And the inside is kind of like a stormy. So this was a really great book. The rating I gave this one was 5 stars. I did listen to the audiobook version again, instead of rereading the physical book. 5 stars. Love the details, the connections that are in this book that are missed in the movie are it's irritating because I really want like all the things from the books, but that just didn't happen. But that's okay. Like the movie is still great. Like the whole series is still great, but this book, like 10 times better than the movie. So good. Like the connections and the relationships and the development of the story and the characters is like top tier. Top tier. The next book that I read in 2025 was A Beautiful Day in the Neighborhood, Mr. Rogers. This is the poetry from Mr. Rogers, from, Mr. Rogers' neighborhood. There's the art on the front, art on the back. Each story kind of has like its own art, so many ways to say I love you, and then it has like a little picture, and then it has and the Won't You Be My Neighbor, like the classic intro to the show. This was just so good. So this one took me a few days to get through because it is just the poetry. So I did just kind of read it part by part, which was really cool. And then like at the very end, it has this, the 143, I love you. And it was just so good. And then it has like a blurb about Fred Rogers, or Fred McFeely Rogers. And then, of course, the very end is him going by. It's so good. It was just so amazing. Very nostalgic. I give this one 3 stars just because it is a lot of reading. It's not a lot of reading, but it's a lot of poetry reading, and it's very like kid-like. And I'm not a kid, but this was amazing. Loved it. The nostalgia just hit every spot in the most beautiful way. The next book that I read in 2025 was Screwtape Letters. Yeah. How do I go from Mr. Rogers to Screwtape Letters? I have no idea. I saw this book and I was intrigued, and then I read it and I started reading it, and it's very intense. So my little blurb, my review that I wrote in my book journal, this is a 4-star. So I just wrote, literally all I wrote was, starts out really intense and doesn't slow down. And that's like no lie. Like it is a very intense, very serious book. That's all. Really good. Love C.S. Lewis. Great writing. It's just really intense. So if you don't want to read an intense book, probably don't do it. just FYI. The next one on my list was one of the newer books that I bought. Well, not newer because it was in 2025, but this is called The Dictionary Story. As you can see, this is absolutely beautiful with the foiling on here, foiling on the edge. And here's the back. See, it even has a little dictionary parts here. And on the back it says, dictionary is filled with all the words that ever existed, but can she find a way to bring them to life? So this is like the front cover. And it has like a bunch of parts from the dictionary, but then like if you see on this page, like are just like falling apart or falling off the page or crumbling together. This was such a cute story. Like I didn't think I was actually gonna like it, but like it's actually kind of like has like real imagery, and it is really, really, really cute. Like it's such a good story. And like it has like dictionary parts on certain pages. I mean, obviously that's not part of the reading, but like it's so cute and so like, oh, that's just precious. So that was a great story. I gave it 5 stars, obviously, because it's super, super cute, and I was so glad that I bought it. Alrighty, the next book that I read was Lore Olympus Volume 3. I only have the first 4. There are now 10. The 11th comes out in March, November, somewhere. Comes out this year. That's what I do know. So I only have the first 4 right now because I read these so fast. So fast. Absolutely obsessed. The story just delivers. It is absolutely stunning. So front cover, side, back cover. And yeah, again, like the art in these and just the storytelling is just so good. It just brings so much joy to my little baby heart. Obviously, my bad, I just hit the microphone. Obviously 5 stars because it is just so amazing. Okay, the next book on my list is, sorry, I had to get rid of my book. I just lost the word, bookmark. That's the word. The next book that I read was What Were the Twin Towers? I just kind of skimmed through this book. This is a book that I bought, obviously, because I'm an education degree and I'm going to be a history teacher. So this was something that I lived through and obviously something important to me and my generation and people who were in school during these. So, yeah, I thought it was really important to buy this just so that way people are educated on the Twin Towers and what happened on 9/11. 4 stars, obviously, I got it for the history and for future teaching. Really great. It's really great that they made the story for like younger audiences, so that way they know what happened and that they're educated about their past. Anyways, moving on. The next book that I read was, okay, I have 3 versions of this book. So I read all 3 of these in 2025. I'm just verifying. Yes, all 3 were read in 2025. So this is The Nightmare Before Christmas. Obviously, I'm obsessed with Nightmare Before Christmas because I have 4 different versions of this book. I get one every single year. Whatever the Barnes and Noble. Alrighty, so obviously I'm obsessed. Bless you to my husband. So I get one every Halloween season. So, okay, so this is the first one. Absolutely stunning, green foiling. Like, who said what? Why? Love this. Absolutely obsessed. So this version comes with the art. And then the back art is the same thing. And then all the interior art is, it has like original concept art in here. Here's Sally and the witch. So yeah, so obviously we should all know Nightmare Before Christmas. It is a classic story, my absolute favorite. And here's my next version of it. Nightmare Before Christmas. So this is another, again, Barnes & Noble exclusive. And then this one includes a frameable poster with original art and 13 mini prints. So on the inside, here's the inside cover. And here is the poster. I'm not pulling that out. Sorry, it's just not happening. And then the art is, of course, all the way, as always, absolutely stunning. Oops. More of the art. And then in the very back, there are, in this envelope, there are 13 mini prints for the 13 Days of Christmas. So those are super cute. Again, I'm not pulling them out. Sorry, not sorry. The third one that I have is this one. Beautiful. Again, Barnes & Noble exclusive. This one has a DVD with his original poem and then 13 mini prints. So again, there's nothing on the back of this. A little dirty, but there's nothing on the back of this cover. The actual cover underneath the dust jacket matches. So you see that. And so this one, again, this is the DVD with the poem on it that is read by him. Again, with the art, absolutely stunning as usual. We love Tim Burton in this home. Sandy Claus. And then we have at the very back, again, the 13 Days of Christmas mini. The next one that I read was The Handmaid's Tale. Bam. This took me a while. I actually think I started this one in 2024 in the book, but then I transitioned to audiobook because it was kind of hard to read. So the audiobook version, love it. It was great. The story was great. 4 stars. Crazy story. Can't wait to watch the show because I started watching it like when it first came out, but then it had what's her name, Samira Wiley, who was in Orange is the New Black, and you know, she died, and that was really depressing for me. So I couldn't watch it after that. After I saw her, I was like, I miss her. So I couldn't do that. So I get emotionally attached to characters in TV shows. Let's just say that. Anywho's. Okay, the next one that I read in 2025 was Lights Out. This was my first kind of dive into spicy books. The spice was real in this book. This book was absolutely phenomenal. The character development that Navisa Allen does, it was so great. It's witty. It has great banter, like amazing banter between the two main characters. 5 stars, obviously. Okay, so my personal spicy scale is peppers. So I gave Lights Out a habanero, which is 100,000 to 300,000 Scoville. That one was so freaking good. One of my favorite books. Okay, like I said, favorite book series thus far. The third book, I've already read the second book, but that one was in 2026. It was the first book of the year that I read. Third book comes out in March, on March 31st, I believe. Will be buying right away because I have to have that book. This was just amazing. Just if you know, you know. But yeah, 5 stars. Character development, 5 stars. Everything, 5 stars. Okay. Next book that I read was Olaf's Night Before Christmas. And I don't know if it was around Christmas when I read. I think it was. But Olaf's Night Before Christmas, it was super cute. And it tells like a little, like the night before Christmas through like Olaf's perspective. There is this little CD right here that does have the story on it. Here is the front cover, the little baby spine, back cover. As you can see on the front cover, let me see. Like, see how it's kind of glossy? This is like textured, like glittery, like snow, like actual snow would be all of these little spots. So this was super cute. Wonderful story. Let me show you some of the art in here. Okay, so like this little part. Look how cute that is. That is so precious. It was such a cute little story, and I loved seeing it from Olaf's, viewpoint and him telling the story. Olaf is my favorite character from Frozen, obviously, besides Bruni, the little salamander dude, the fire salamander. So cute. Great little story. Can't get any better than that. Next, I think it was Christmas time when I read all these, because the next series is The Grinch and How the Grinch Stole Christmas. Here's the first version. This is the full color keepsake edition, another Barnes & Noble exclusive. Here's the full color cover dust jacket. I don't have nails, so I can't do the TikTok girly thing. Here's the inside of the book. And then the back of the book, there's some keepsakes in here. And then like the full color art. The art, like honestly, with these books, I'm going to show you the first one. Full color art really kind of makes the series. This is the original one, How the Grinch Stole Christmas, like red metallic, green metallic. Here's the back. And then the inside. And then let's see if we can get to like that same. Let's see. Trying to look for that same page. Oh, right here. So here's the non-full color version. The red really makes it pop, but the full color just really kind of brings it all together. Classic story, obviously. Here's the back. Just nostalgic, but the color keepsake version really just made the story, the book pop even more. The next one that I read was the Polar Express. This was a this one has a keepsake ornament and a bonus audio read. So it has an audio CD, I believe, and the I believe it came with an audio CD that was like attached to the front. And then it came with like an ornament, like a flat gold ornament. But it's read by Liam Neeson. So, Polar Express, classic story, obviously. And then this is the cover without the dust jacket. And then the art is absolutely beautiful in this book. So, again, this is a very nostalgic book. This is my mom's favorite movie. Just so good. I will say that I like the movie better. The movie develops the story so much better. The book is very like, this happened, like step, and not like a fully, like, it doesn't develop very much. It just like goes, this happened, and then story's over. So I did like the book or the movie more than the book. Okay, the next book that I read was actually an audiobook, and it was the next two books are part of a single series. However, this is it. So the next book that I read was, I had it upside down, was The Hobbit. So this is the only edition of The Hobbit that I have. It is a special edition with this case. And then it has full gold foiling with the Elder Futhric runes. Here's this is foiled. Side is foiled. And then the pages do have like some spray on them. This was this series, Lord of the Rings. It's just, it has me in a chokehold. I absolutely adore this series, and the movies. I love the Hobbit movies, and I knew I had to have the book, and so saw this, had to have this edition of it because it was beautiful. And the Hobbit is just such a classic version. Also, the best part about the audiobook is that the narrator actually sings the songs. So that was super cute. And I love to hear like the versions of the songs that they sang versus like knowing the ones that are in the movies. It was so good. It was just like 5 stars, obviously. Love. Now, the next audiobook I listened to was also a part of the Hobbit Lord of the Rings series. So it was Lord of the Rings, Fellowship of the Ring. However, this is the only version. Well, I think I have separate versions of the books, but I might have gotten rid of them because this is the only one that I can find in my library. So, or in my my set of books that's almost a library. So Lord of the Rings, J.R.R. Tolkien, you have the gold foiling around the eye of Sauron, and then of that. This is like a super, I don't know if you could tell the texture, but it's like a super soft, like velvety, almost like leather, buttery leather texture. So this actually has, oh, if I do this, okay. This actually has all 3 books in it. Like, it is thick. So Fellowship of the Rings, that goes from page 21 to 197, and then, or that's when the second one, so 218 maybe for the first part of the book. The second part of the book starts on page 219 and goes through 412. So page 21 through 412 is the first book. The second book starts on 413 and goes through page 746. And then Return of the King starts on 747 and goes through page 1032. And then there's the appendices, which has like all the family trees, the calendars, the writing, spelling. It has like all the extra information of this beautiful series in it. So yeah, Lord of the Rings is just a classic. So there's like nothing else to say about that. I haven't listened to the second or third audiobooks yet because I need credits. I already spent mine. So in the upcoming future, I will be getting the audiobooks and listening to those as well because these pages are super thin and it's fragile and I don't want to hurt it. So Lord of the Rings, classic, absolutely love it. Series is amazing. The movies are top tier, 10 out of 10. Don't ask me to pick a favorite because I won't. Don't ask me to pick a favorite character because I won't. Because I can't. I can tell you who I don't like. I don't like Boromir at all. But it's not really his fault. But it kind of is. Yeah. So, actually, Lord of the Rings, I finished listening to it in 2026. My bad. Let me look at this list before I keep getting off track of what I have done. Okay, after The Hobbit was not Lord of the Rings. However, that was 2026. We're going to skip it in the 2026 part. So after that one was another children's book, which was classic Jumanji. And this one is the 30th anniversary edition. And I'm just going to show y'all some of the art. Some of the art in the book. So this book was, here's the back, very, I want to say interesting, but I'm going to say it was, I don't know. It's a classic, but the movie's better. This book is more like a prequel to the original movie with Robin Williams. That's exactly how I saw this. This is like a prequel to the movie. And then you have the movie and then the second movie. Because it had some of the things, but not like all the things from the movie. But it also, like, the characters aren't the same. Like, it's not the same. So it's more like a prequel to Jumanji, the movie, is how it felt to me. That's coming from a 90s kid. Take it how you want it. I love it still. It's still a good book. I gave it 3 stars just because it did feel more like a prequel to Jumanji, the movie, than like the actual Jumanji like story in full. So that is what it is. Okay, now the next book in 2025. This is the most recent book that I have bought. It's a children's book. It's absolutely adorable. I cannot tell you enough that this was such a cute story, and I'm going to pre-warn you, if you have it or if you want to get it, I almost cried. I am a 30-something-year-old woman, and this little children's story, Zombie and Brain are friends, adorable little brain and zombie. This book almost made me cry. Legit, I had tears in my eyes. Here's it is. It is so cute. This is just, the story is just, it's so good. It is so, so good. But it legitly made me almost cry. Here's some of the art in the book. No other words. No other words. Almost made me cry. 5 stars. Absolutely amazing. The next book, and it was the last book of the year for me, was, who saw this coming? Harry Potter, J.K. Rowling's Christmas at Hogwarts. This is the front cover. Here's the back cover. And this is from Harry Potter and the Sorcerer's Stone. Here's the inside. So it is super cute. Here's some of the art. That's Hagrid behind the tree. See, Hagrid. And then you have the next scene where they're putting all the trees up in the Great Hall. such a cute story, and just the art is beautiful. Here's like Christmas morning with Harry and Ron. Like, it was just so cute. It was a good way to end 2025. Just saying. That one was a 5-star read. Very Christmassy, very precious, very nostalgic to my Harry Potter loving heart. Just wonderful. Okay, now, there's only a couple books left because it's 2026 and the year just started. So, to start off the year again, like I said, I read Caught Up. This book took me longer than I wanted it to. However, life happens, and I'm also a student, so that happens. So, Caught Up, Navisa Allen, book 2 in the Lights Out series, or Into the Darkness series. Into the Darkness novel. This one, it has characters from the first book, so like they are interconnected. So you need to read the first one first. I'm trying to find the words. This book is like 5 to 8 times spicier than Lights Out. On my spicy scale, this one was given a ghost pepper, which is 855,000 to 1,041,412 Scoville. So Lights Out was a habanero. This one is a ghost pepper. I am hoping that Game On, the third book, is a Carolina Reaper. Just saying. That's my prediction. This book was amazing. Super spicy. Again, this author, Navisa Allen, she is like top tier character development, witty banter, like the best like conversations. It makes you laugh, and then it just like smacks you with more spice, and you're like, oh, we're back to that. Okay. It is just, she is my favorite author right now. Right now, this is my favorite author, favorite book series, because like the character development is top tier. Like you can't get any better right now in my brain. I have read an arc that was also top tier, great banter, great character development. Yeah, I'll add it into the next video because I like literally just finished it. And this one is from January. So that one is a February finish. So these are just the January 2026 books. The next book, moving on, was Lord of the Rings, Fellowship of the Ring, which we already said. Great story. Love it. Love it, love it, love it. The next one is a book my sister-in-law got me 2 years ago for Christmas. Or maybe it was my birthday. I don't know. This is The Little Mermaid. It's a full film script. And then that, it has some foiling on the back and on the front as well. It says, up where they walk, up where they run, up where they stay, all day in the sun, wandering free, wish I could be part of that world. And then again, beautiful art. So this book, so it actually does have like the script. Script. But it also has like these little interjected notes and like concept arts. And like it has also like stories in the middle of the story about like, this one's about the Sea Witch, and like concept art, like how she came to be, where she was supposed to start, or like where it started. And then like Ariel, like how she came to be, how she developed. This was so cute and super, 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 super nostalgic, because like The Little Mermaid was one of my favorites growing up, and it just was really great to see that story. So it was just like really interesting to know like the background and the history to The Little Mermaid, and like where it actually began and how it got put in the vault before it came back out, and then got worked on and redeveloped and made into the beautiful story that it is now. Like, yeah, so great to know. The last book that I read in January 2026, I will put a picture right up here because I only have the audiobook version. That was Bad Mormon by Heather Gay. It was such a good story. I really was interested in her story. And the next audiobook I have is Told You So by Macy Neely, who is also, she is one of the Secret Lives of Mormon Wives. But Heather Gay's story, Bad Mormon, was just so interesting. And just like hearing her story and how she grew up and things like within her upbringing and her, I want to say character development, but like her personality and her morals and just who she grew to be after like learning things and just being her own person. Like it was just such a good story and it developed in such a great way, and like her confidence boosted and like just everything that she went through and everything that she talked about, because she does narrate her own book, which adds like another whole layer to just how amazing the book was, because it is actually her telling her story, which is something that is pretty rare, I think. So it was just so good. So good. I gave that one 4 stars out of 5. And again, it was audiobook. Putting it right here. So that is what I've read so far in 2026. Well, from 2024 to January 2026. I will be doing more of these. It's probably going to be shorter because I'm planning on doing like a monthly wrap up of my reading. So that is where we're at. And what we're going to be planning to do, we'll see how that works, because again, I am a full-time student. I am married. I have all the things going on. So we'll see how that goes. But if you did like this video, if you do enjoy bookish content, please smash that like button, subscribe, hit that bell icon to be notified whenever I post another video, and we will catch y'all in the next one. Bye.